So we're live. Steve, when I send you the questionnaire that you're meant to fill in, you're meant to put all the relevant information, not go, Steve, solutions for I'm 53. And I can't remember what else you put.
I said,
and it was just like, what interesting information.
Yeah. I said, I'm 53, and everybody says I look a lot younger.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. When I was writing it out, I thought, if I give him so much, he's going to try and trip me up with something.
Well, I have. Because you didn't fill in that form.
I done it.
So like anyone listening, any guests that I have on the show, I send them a form. Well, the whole network send out the show.
We do.
Steve, you got a show in the game, so you send your guests that form, and it's very helpful, isn't it?
Oh, very.
Isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, it's very helpful.
Yeah, but luckily I know you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, business here in Qatar. Where would you start?
Oh dear.
If I'm a company, or if I'm someone that is living here and I want to start up a business, where would you start? What advice would you give?
The biggest thing is do your market research. Don't come into it thinking that. Don't run on emotion. It's like, and you tend to do. You find somebody, you get introduced to somebody, and the world is going to change for you.
But isn't it funny that there's a lot of people that have done it?
Of course,
that have come in on emotion and
of course
just teamed up with whoever without doing any market research because they're promised the world.
They're promised the world, and you find there was some advice when I was here and I didn't listen to it, and so I'm not saying that when I came here first that there was nothing there. Because there was, but you don't want to listen to it. You get people that tell you the truth, but it's not what you want to hear.
It's not what you want.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just one of those things. And then what you do is you get so many different offers out there, and somebody's introduced you to this person, and you think the world's going to change with this person, and then all of a sudden somebody's give you another one, and you're like, oh my word. And the worst thing that people do, the worst thing is they say, oh well, let's see if we can negotiate a better deal.
Yeah.
And then it all falls to pieces because.
But then they're negotiating with the wrong people.
Of course.
Because they haven't done their market research in the first place.
100%. And that's the biggest thing that I'd say to everybody is that normally businesses come here and they're in a position that they've done really well. They've been successful. So what are you successful at? You're successful as a business person. You wouldn't make these judgments normally. So don't do it when you just first come here. It's like, do your research, talk to people, even just kind of asking people, go around and just ask people what their experiences have been like.
But isn't it funny? Do you think that because Qatar is always like the country in the whole world that's like a pot of gold and you'll make your millions sort of thing, and that people have this impression just because it's a rich oil and gas country that people feel that the roads are paved with gold, and they come here expecting that?
I was one of those people. I thought my life was going to change, and it was stupidity when I first came here, but it just got me on that journey. I came here for 10 months in the first time, and it was one of the biggest struggles I've ever had. I came here, we were going to sign up with a local Qatari, which I'm still friends with him. It's just because it's something that they want to be nice to everybody, and that's the thing. And it's kind of, and when all of a sudden you say, yeah, I'm coming, they're like, ooh. And they make some kind of, they think to themselves, and they don't want to lose face. They don't want to kind of, and I can understand it completely. So, yeah.
So when you were talking to them, they didn't think you were serious? So they're just being accommodating and friendly and...
Yeah, a lot of the time, okay? A lot of the time. And then everybody starts thinking, but the biggest thing for me is when you come here, you'll have about 5 meetings and you'll still not sign anything. And that was one of the things I think I changed when I came. Well, after, I would say about 3-4 months, I changed those because I just felt that what you had to do was you had to get those meetings. Just business owner 1, Qatari partner, just tell me what you want, come together, 1 meeting, sign the contract. And I think that's another thing that was one of the biggest positives for me was just kind of shaving that thing down so that you can get to business straight away. And another biggest bit of advice that somebody said to me, which I didn't listen to, was get that first job under your belt. Don't care what it is. Get it done. Get that job, even if it's not what you really want to do, or you build your credibility. And I think that was another bit of best advice, because
I think that's what I was always, when I started Ginger Camel, was the fact that it's about credibility, and that you have to, because I learned from my partnership before setting Ginger Camel up, was that I had partnered up with a guy from Paris who'd been running an animation house, and he had loads of content. But when you came over here and tried to sell that with that content that you produce in Paris, it was just like, yeah, but what have you done locally? So you had no local credibility.
Yeah, exactly that.
And that's important for people to know, is that you've got to show what you can do here locally, and that you can operate locally.
It's all about credibility. It's all about the trust. People look up and they say, trust is very important here, okay? But you cannot build that overnight. It's just one of those things that you've just got to realize that it comes over a period of time.
Yeah, but what's your advice about companies that do want to literally start running when they first arrive?
Just literally, it's easy for me to be here now and to be able to talk about
Well,
this.
you're an old timer now.
Because I am an old timer. But I love it now. There's so many different options here in Qatar right now. You've got the QFC, you've got the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, you've got the QFZ, you've got the sports aggregator, you've got
don't use the hyphens or the abbreviations, because a lot of people going, well, what's QFZ?
Yeah,
what's QFC?
Perfect.
Come on.
So we've got the Qatar Financial Centre. That's a free zone area, but you've got to fit the criteria. And if you can fit the criteria, it's a great option. You've got the Qatar Free Zone Authority, which is another good option, because if you're into manufacturing, pharmaceutical, logistics, there's a few others. You go to the website and have a check out, but there's a few areas. They're giving 20 years tax-free, not tax-free, commercial tax. So you don't have to pay any commercial tax for 20 years. It's just incredible.
Wow.
And there's so many different options. And okay, you can look and say these are all in the free zone areas, but everybody says about the Qatari, bring him into your business, even the free zone areas, because he will provide a certain amount of expertise, and he wants to be part of the business. And if he's got if he's got the skills and the experience and the network, then he's please.
Yeah, but how do you find the right Qatari? Because there's a lot of people that are listening that won't know where to start. Or is there a place that you can go to that will give you advice on who's the right Qatari to partner with?
We've got. I'm not saying that we do everything perfect, but there are companies out there that do exactly what we do, and they have got some really, really good partners that you can join up with. I tend to find with what I do, with all the things that I do with going around to the different QDBs and the Badayas, and you normally find some really good people that's real hungry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, real hungry. And it's funny that we should look here at the moment, in which it was Ladies' Day. It was
International Women's Day.
International Women's Day, and I think that, and I've been around to a lot of these. Okay, so I think that to every one man, there's 4 women that want to start a business here in Qatar, from a Qatari perspective.
Oh, so not just think about a Qatari guy to team up with.
Of course.
Actually,
yeah. There's just so many. It's like we're teaming people up that want to do a salon, that wants to do gyms, that wants to do all sorts, fashion. And you just put people together. They've got the common interests, common goals, and they're hungry. Qataris are real hungry. So I see that it, and on the other side, when I'm talking to Qataris, I look at it and say, don't always try to reinvent the wheel. Look at people that you can partner up with, that's going to provide you with a rich source of knowledge, experience, and then perfect. You can learn. You're in your own country. You can.
Yeah, but for them, like, what market research do they do on the actual companies that are coming in? Because this is a conversation that I have with Jeffrey. It's just like, there's a lot of people that come here because they do feel that this country is a pot of gold.
Yeah.
And they're ready to take the money and run. Now, how do these Qataris know that they're partnering up with, good companies, good people?
I think in the beginning, when a company comes over, because again, going back to my own experience, I thought that everybody was going to support and back us to the hilt. We wanted to come and do security. We wanted to come and do close protection. We were doing it at Ronnie Scott's in London, and we thought that it was our right for somebody to.
Why did you think that?
Because that's what we got told. That's what the thing. And another lesson that I learned was, listen, if you're going to come over here and you're thinking that somebody is going to back a startup, because that's basically what you are. They don't care about what experience you've got elsewhere.
No.
But if you're coming to get a startup here, the people that have got the money, they can just go and buy the company that's best in the world.
Absolutely. And
why
they generally do sometimes.
Exactly that. So what's the point? What's the point? But I think that it's the journey that you've got to go on. It's kind of not the destination, let's say. Qatar is a fantastic destination, but you've got to find your story.
Very good. I like that.
You've got to find it. And there are people out there that really do want to help. Look at what you do. Look at what I do. It's like we are genuine people, and we only want people to succeed.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with you that there are genuine people that do want to help. But I can freely admit that I've been used in the past where I felt like I was helping someone and all they wanted to do was use me as a stepping stone to get to the top. And, used and abused. And that was the last time I saw of the person
I think,
or a few people that I've helped.
I worked in London for a long time. I really did. And there's some unscrupulous people back there.
Yeah.
You've just got to be very aware.
Oh, I think, with age and with the years of doing business, I'm much more aware now than I was when I first started.
And I suppose that's what we do with the way that we do things is we just get, at the beginning when somebody's coming in with company formation, they're looking at the company formation part of it is just the huge part. When it's only just a small fraction. Once that's done, okay, that's done. It will be done, completed in 6 weeks.
Absolutely.
What else and where are you going to go from there? And what are you going to do from there? And I think that's what story I'm trying to get over is to say, hey, listen, the company formation, all that stuff can be done. Okay. But what are you going to do after? How are you going to get to the marketplace? Have you got to know the culture properly? Have you done all those things that are just.
So you rather than just do the paperwork, you want to hold their hand and.
Of course. And
take them on a journey.
And take them on a journey.
Yeah.
And I suppose over the years, it's like, I know I'm name dropping now, but businessstartupqatar.com is one of those areas that I suppose over a period of years, I've just found, look, a lot of people are going to say yes to you and we can provide that for you. And it's always, there's going to be a cost element to it. But what I found...
Of course, you're not going to do it for free.
Of course. But what I find is that you want to find people that can actually follow through. And this is all around the world. This is not specific to here. But those people that say, yes, I can do it. Can they? Can they do it? Is it going to cost me? Is it going to cost me time and effort? Am I going to be, is it going to affect me from an emotional perspective? Because it's a roller coaster ride. We learn that as age. So I want to get those dips not so low, so you've got to kind of, with the people that I deal with, or that I don't do everything. I don't do audits. I don't do accounting. I don't do those things, but I do know a man that can.
No, exactly.
Now that sounds a little bit Arthur Daley-ish, right? For those people that know.
No, but saying that, when I first arrived in 2006, it was all about who you knew and, a man who can. And because it was very much about that. The internet wasn't that much used in 2006 here. So it was talking to people and they go, don't worry, I can sort that out for you. Or I know someone that I can refer you to. Because this country is unique. It's so diverse with different cultures.
Yeah.
And we're all away from our families. So we all pull on each other's strengths and knowledge, which is great. We kind of form new families, which I love. But do you see how, when you first arrived to where it is now, that processes have got easier? Because, you're always looking for an expert to do the paperwork. But, okay, you offer that service, but can someone, if they wanted to do it themselves, has it got easier, or is it still, like a
And
then
this
I'm
is,
saying and I hate when I say
no, I think that over the period of time, in the early days, it was, if you knew the way to go, it was a lot easier, and it was always best to get somebody to do it for you. And to a certain degree, that's still true.
Still true.
The one thing with Qatar is that I give them credit for, and they are trying to change it, but it's not easy to change a country. It's not easy to change a small business, let alone a country.
Absolutely.
And the one thing that I would say is that they're working hard to try to do that, and the progress now is a lot easier because a lot of stuff is done online. It's just that you've got to come and find those where to go, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff online, but there's a lot of stuff that you've got to get used to. So it's still a little complicated, but it's getting there.
So the services that you provide.
Yeah.
So you help companies when they first come in here, if they want to, or even before they come here. Do they get in contact with you and they basically say, "Hey, we're interested in doing this business. Can you What is it that you offer?"
First thing is, what we try to do is we don't put a round peg into a square hole. Okay, so every inquiry that comes in is an individual case. They will fit into one of those areas. There may be cost implications, but what they do is they work out what's best for them, and that's on the advice that we start giving from there. So it's kind of, okay, you've got a business that could potentially fit. It could have the strategic fit for Qatar Financial Centre, or the Free Zone. Or the Qatar Free Zone Authority. So you look at each case and its merit, and then you give them the advice of what they need to do, and these are the things that you require. And then we'll obviously talk about our fees, etc., and then once we come to some agreement, we take care of everything from there on. So that whether it's in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, we'll go through, get name approval, find a sponsor, a local Qatari to join up with. We'll do the commercial registration with the activities. We'll do everything for them. We'll help them find an office. We'll help them provide all those things.
You mentioned activities. A lot of people that are listening from abroad won't know what activities. What are activities?
There's thousands of them. If you can imagine, it could be an electrician, it could be.
So basically, you have to state the business that you're in, and then you have to register that type
sales
of business.
And marketing. Yeah, exactly that. You've literally got to break it down. There's some things with trading. You've got to say what trading that you're going to be doing. Is it going to be electrical? Is it going to be there's construction? There's so many different things that you've got to find.
Have they updated their lists from way back? Because I remember it was quite limited when you were looking for the activities that described a business. Has that improved?
That's very much so, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, you'll still find some areas. For example, and I don't know what the situation in, but I remember dog walking. Okay. It's a business. I know people that are making some serious money back in the UK.
Yeah.
So that was not there. So, and you try to explain the dog walking, then it's not in their code. Do you see? So it's not there. So you've got to see which one fits best. Or you go round and you find until you find somebody.
What would be similar to dog walking?
Dog walking. Looking after, I don't know. It could be kennels. It could be.
Okay.
It could be. Again, it's something that I don't know if they've got this sorted. So I will find out after today. But it's just one of those that they're constantly. What you can do now is you can go to them and say, look, the activity's not in the list. Can you have a look at this, because this is what we do. And it may be something that you're bringing from the UK, America, wherever you can be bringing it from. They'll have a look at it, and they sometimes make the activity for that business, which is really good.
That's good. So when the company's over here and you've helped them set up, how easy is it for a company to get their message out there? Do you help them with their whole marketing, or do you advise them?
100%. Another one is we're bringing over a company from India right now. They're going into manufacturing, and it's not just finding the partner, finding the investor. It's all of a sudden you're going into all the other areas, so that you can find. It's going to need some construction. It's going to need some planning. So we do all of that and market research. So we've got a client at the moment in South Korea. They wanted an agriculture farming market research. So we provided that for them.
But when you say market research, what are you doing? Going around to farms, or what information are you trying to find for them?
Exactly that. So for instance, the big factors, because you know that we're into hydroponics, and what we do is there's only 5% of the land mass here in Qatar that can be used for agriculture.
Oh, really?
Okay, so that's 5%. 20% of that land is already being used. Okay, but 60% of that 20% is being used for animal feed. So in two ways, you can look at that as a positive and a negative. It's like the positive is that there's still 80% that they can build. They can put farms on. But what is it going to be for? Is it going to be for animals, or is it going to be for humans as well with the tomatoes? And this industry, since the embargo came in, is being transformed. So what you can do is you can pick up on all these. I go to Agrico, and we've got other farmers that we go to that we get information from them, and it's information within the ministries is very accessible. So you can go and pull some real big stuff. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Has it always been like that? Or?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. We both know Felix. He's a master at it. You know, he's just absolutely fantastic when it comes to market research. I don't know. He's the brains of our partnership. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So he's very good. But there's information out there that you wouldn't believe. Water consumption, where it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So marketing yourself.
Yeah. It's I would say to anybody.
You know, B2B, B2C. How does a company look at it?
Look, I'm still in the old school. Here in Qatar, the way that people market themselves is through Instagram and Snapchat, which is very good, and it's a start. It's an instant start. But I would say get prepared. If you're thinking about coming to Qatar, or it's a little bit more than just a thought, get working on your website straight away. Make sure that you can look up and say that you're coming to Qatar. Start optimizing your website from a search engine optimization perspective. Start getting that message out there on your social media. You can start today. If you don't come out here, well, that's just one of those things. But you can start working out on that stuff, because when you do come here, then you're going to have a footprint already, and people can, if you were doing a search, they could do a search for you and you could come up, especially for not your name but just associated things. So feasibility studies Qatar, will come up number one. Okay, and that brings inquiries. So these are the things the little things that are easy to do but are so rewarding if you can get it done before you come here. And
nice.
it takes 2 to 3 months to come up in the search engine. Anybody that knows this stuff will understand. But it's pretty good in Qatar, because it's not as competitive as the UK for certain search terms. Here you've got an open canvas. Okay, there is challenges. There is competition, but if you do it right, you're going to smash it.
Yeah. So, what's your opinion with regards to? If I was a business, what kind of businesses is Qatar looking for to come in and invest or set up?
And I put it into, I would say let me see, let's start with education. Huge. And they're going to need more. So
why? Is that because
there's going to be
to look after more people that are coming into the country?
Yeah, of course. There's always, and good schools, good kindergartens, think about all the services associated with that, books, computer softwares, and that's another one. So we've done schools. It's a big one. IT, without a shadow of a doubt. It's wanting to be recognised for those things, and they're doing so much to be.
They're doing so much.
So much. So hats off for them on that. So that's another one that you can take. The other one is obviously I would say from medical. This is a huge one. Anything to do with that side of it, they've got some of the best Sidra.
Oh, they've got amazing facilities.
Unbelievable.
Hamad and Sidra, amazing.
And unbelievable. So you've got those type of things that again, they need to be supplied. They need to, so from everything, from doctors to, you name it, that industry is big. And And sport is another huge one.
Mm.
And the way that that's going, I think it's just going to go bigger and bigger. It's in the Middle East. They've got fantastic facilities, and it's a huge market to get into, and it's just brilliant. And those are the ones that stick out in my mind. Tourism, we sometimes we take that for granted, but tourism a big thing. Business tourism, they've got facilities that can handle any type of corporate events. Fantastic. Yeah, so those are the cool ones, I would say.
Excellent. Running a business here, do you get any feedback from businesses of what their frustrations are? Are there frustrations? Like any country, any country, there must be frustrations. Is there any particular ones that, are highlighted and that can be improved?
I keep on talking about the journey here. It's, how can I put this? Because I want it to be the best information that I can give. There's problems in every. I'm 53 years old.
You don't look it, Steve.
Thank you very much. I've been to different parts of the world, and it brings different problems or the same problems. And I think here, what I like about it is that people look up. These are the negatives people say.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, it's just a small country. There isn't a very big there's only 2.8 million people that live here. It's a small. Compete, okay? Don't be afraid of competing. If you think you're good enough, then there's 2.8 million people. Look at it as a positive. It's kind of, if you've got something really good, then people are going to buy from you. It's not going to be the biggest marketplace, but it's going to be a nice marketplace. And if you've built that credibility, if you build that trust, why not have this as your platform to leap into other different countries? Because if you've built those relationships with different people, you have got that platform to do. I'm not going to sit here and say that my journey has been the most easiest thing and I'm so positive, and if a negative comes, I can get over it. I want to say one word now, but I can't. But the one thing that I would say is just, you've got to suck it up. And I know. Sometimes you've got to suck it up and you've
Absolutely.
got to go on.
Yeah.
This is the best place that I know to be able to be in business and to have the opportunities that come along. And if you're good at what you do, you won't look back. But it's going to take hard work. It's going to take, I won't say blood, but it's going to take sweat and tears. Okay, there's going to be, just as if you're going to start up anywhere in this world. The one thing I will say is that they try hard on a daily basis to improve things.
Absolutely.
And I think it's with you. And we do things here, right? We try to make it better for people.
Yeah.
We try to give information out. We try to kind of put the spotlight on people so that they can get recognized. It's a great place to be. I wouldn't think of anybody anywhere else at the moment, because you can make such a big difference.
Absolutely. What would your advice be if you met the younger Steve when he got off the plane?
Oh, dear
What was the one thing that you would say to him?
I was always I remember when I was even going back to the forces. I was dear me, the first 13 weeks basic, okay, and I was always ambitious, always, and I've always been the same. So I hate to say this word, especially in this country, but I was a bit of a gambler in the sense that I wanted to achieve. And sometimes in business, you've got to have a little bit of you've got to believe it. Because what's that saying that they say, whatever decision you make is the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you've got to make it the right decision. So if I was talking to the same Steve, I just let him get on with it. He's not going to listen to anybody. but people don't listen to you if you're giving them the best advice. Do you know how many people that have come back to me and said, Steve, I wish I listened to you. I wish I listened to you. And all I say is what I'm saying here today. That's all I say. Please don't make the mistakes. Please don't make those mistakes that I made. And I tell you, they're real painful.
Yeah.
Don't make those. I could have done this a lot quicker. But it's been an incredible journey.
Superb. So on that incredible journey, how do people get in contact with you?
I don't mind giving my telephone number out.
Okay, give it.
My telephone number is 00974 5034 3737. I like that. So it's a very simple number. It's 5034 3737. You can get me on that, or businessstartupqatar.com anytime. You can get me through the message on there, or you've got my main telephone number. So yeah.
And how's it looking for the future?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. It's like, and this is another one, Stefan, is it that you hear people say, oh, doom, gloom. It's like, hustle, come on.
Absolutely.
Let's push it.
There's work out there.
There's work out there. And I know that I say this, Felix, my business partner, has put structure in my life right now.
Bless Felix.
Bless Felix. I tell you,
Big shout out to Felix.
Massive shout out, because the business is just going really, really well. And I kind of, and the things I'm involved with, he allows me to focus on my core values, not core values. He allows me to focus on the company formation, PRO work, and partnerships. And that's all he tells me to do. Mm-hmm. But there is just so much more. So if I do that and I keep on chasing that down, it then allows me to do all the other stuff that people say, Steve, you do so many things. Yeah. And I do. But I love what I do. But I focus on those core areas. That's my business. That's my bread and butter. That allows me to do the mentoring and the judging and the street soccer and the this podcast. Come on, look at we're doing one now. How great are they?
Absolutely.
How do you feel after you've had one podcast with somebody that's got a brilliant story? You're life changing.
Absolutely.
It's
just picks you up, inspires you.
So that's things are really good. And I say to anybody, in all my time I've been here, I always get that when's the right time to start up in Qatar. I wish I had a crystal ball, but right now I would say that this is an exciting time for somebody to play a part. And that's what you've got to see yourself doing, is coming here to play a part. If you have that mentality, you're going to be huge. But you've got to make sure that you do your apprenticeship. Once you do your apprenticeship, it's going to be, and that's down to you on how long that lasts. I was stupid. I made it last a little bit longer than it should have been. But we don't let people make those same mistakes. Well, I say we don't let them make. We try to advise them not to make those same mistakes.
Great. Thank you, Steve.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Good on you. Thanks for giving me the platform.
Thank you.
Cheers.